Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. This is part 2 of 2, the Imperial Oyster Stout. And you've seen this rodeo before. We're simply going to move the beer into the keg from fermenter, should we say? So I'm very excited. If you're in Jacksonville, let me know. I'll definitely give you a bottle or 2 or 3. But running a little low on bottles, but needless to say, extremely excited about this. So it's all good. Another subscriber had mentioned he likes to see whatever I'm drinking beyond what I'm drinking on the keg. And I kind of do 50-50 between commercial breweries and what's in my Keezer. And this is Night Swell Dark Indian Pale Ale. And I only got a little bit. They didn't have but a 6-pack left at my local beer supply place, or bottle shop, whatever you want to call it. And I love a black IPA. I have none on tap. I usually have at least one. So they're a little overdue, and I have no plans to brew one until sometime maybe in February or March at the earliest. But I figured it's not stout, and I have some stouts in my fridge from some kegs that I've moved to bottles. And I have some other additional dark beers in there, but yeah, I wanted something a little on the hoppy side, but I also wanted it nice and dark to kind of complement the theory of what I'm going to be drinking, or thought of what I'm going to be drinking. It's a very, very good black IPA. If you haven't had a black IPA, definitely check one out. Night Swells, and there's quite a few other companies out there making them. Our local one has Token Rye, something like that. It's kind of a play on words, but it's a black rye IPA, which is really good. And that's at Wicked Barley here in Jacksonville, Florida. So they don't always put it out. It's kind of a seasonal thing, but it is what it is. Okay, let's keep going. First of all, we don't have to gelatin this because we don't care about the clarity. It's too freaking dark. That should be great. Then we'll turn around, put our blow off on here, which didn't do us justice on our double raspberry Belgian blonde, or golden ale, should we say, since that's also kicking high on the ABV. I'm gonna have to learn to get my ABV down a bit. I'm a little out of control on some of the ABV, so alcohol level a little high. I'm using this, although I'll eventually brew with it. Right now it's just bring the pump up a little higher. And here we go. As I knock things over and kick things around. You can also put a t-shirt over it if you're putting some beer out in room temp. You're letting it kind of sit there just to keep the light out. You don't want the light hitting that. Trust me, don't let the light hit it. Okay, this right now has water in it. It's got a little air in it. So we're gonna go ahead. Thought I'd already purged it. Put it on this keg, which is empty. Put this in here. Just hot water. I've already PBW'd and star sanded it, so it's good to go. Yep, you hear that noise change? That's the air. We don't want air. We can purge the keg, and I will purge the keg at the end, but less air is always better air. And like I said, Brian the Brewer, B-R-Y-A-N, the Brewer, pretty obvious. Check out his channel. He's a subscriber over here. I didn't realize I hadn't subscribed back in return, and I made sure I did so, just courtesy and respect. But I need to watch some of his videos, check him out, see what he's doing. He's got quite a few videos out there, and he looks like he did a little bit of everything, but now he's really geared towards home brewing, and very curious what he's got out there and what he's talking about. I watch a lot of brew channels, as most of the people watching this channel are watching other brew channels too, and it's all the good. I've made a lot of BrewTube fans. But yeah, so appreciation going out to him on toss a little in there, see what happens. I hadn't thought of that, and I'm not saying it did the job or not, but I was desperate and I was kind of freaking out a little bit. So, and then I went to Jamaica for a week and forgot about it, came back, and hey, look, it's down to where I need to be, and my heater broke. It's all good. Okay, so here we go. Still bubbling a tiny bit, but I'm sorry. What it's at right now, I doubt it's gonna drop anymore. The stout, you only usually notice the roast. You kind of smell the roast first, but I definitely can smell the chocolate. Like I said, you shouldn't be tasting oysters. I don't smell any oysters in there, so, you know, nothing coming out, nothing growing. And actually it looks quite nice in there, very chocolatey. So I'm excited. Let's go ahead. Oh, nope, we need to leave that there. I forgot. It's been a long day. Remember when you're dripping, you're kind of dropping some of the water out of there, which means you're going to get a little bit of air. I'm okay with a tiny bit of air. We can always purge that. And there goes that chocolate black gold. Don't know what my problem is tonight with the disconnects, but there we go. And here we go. If you've seen this rodeo, I'm going to speed things up, make life a little easier on you. And I'm going to sit back and enjoy a black IPA from Nightswell. So I'm all good. I don't even remember where the hell they're from. I'll have to check that out. Okay, so a little yeast got through. I thought I would stop it just in time, but for some reason it's light up here, dark down here. No clue, who cares? It'll settle out, I'm not worried. A little extra B vitamin, you know, it is what it is. So, we'll get that cleaned out. Okay, take this. We'll get the keg purged, and I feel like a little bit of an idiot, but Nightswell, name of the beer. Heavy Seas beer, or Heavy Seas Brewing. Definitely had many of their IPAs. Haven't had any lately, but that was one of the last sitting in my fridge from a couple months back, so I've forgotten who it came from. But either way, it was really good. And a half glass left, and it's still very good. Okay, we'll get this purged and get it cold crashed. I'm very excited. And we'll do a taste testing. Kick it up to about 40 PSI, rock the hell out of it, cold crash it. We'll be all good. I know you just saw us transfer the Oyster Stout over to the keg, throw it in here, start carbonating it, but it's actually been about a week since I did that. So, got some new glasses I hooked myself up for Christmas from Brewing America. Little muffin tops with the nucleated bottoms, which are pretty cool. Got little, looks like mountains down there. Pretty sure it's mountains and clouds, but it's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and try this out. What's funny is the double raspberry blonde or golden blonde ale actually still is carbonating a little bit more. The carbonation on this bad boy kicked in quick. And we have it up here at number 6, Imperial Oyster Stout. We had all kinds of fun and problems with this bad boy. First of all, the fermentation was using a Belgian yeast, which just crawled. And I do mean crawled, because we did them back to back, a day apart. The double raspberry was just cranking, eating that sugar. And the Oyster Stout went down a little and just kind of sat there and dropped about a point or two a day, sometimes 3 points, which I got excited. And I was getting panicked, very panicked. Used the last of my Omega Dark Belgian I had, which they don't make anymore. But if it isn't gonna do what I'm hoping to do, or maybe I'm too impatient, I don't know, I let it go. And then I dumped some 530 White Labs in there. And then I dumped some 570 White Labs in there. So we'll call this a Belgian blend. It's a Belgian Imperial Oyster Stout blend as far as the yeasts. Just is. The key though is I also had a subscriber, which I mentioned earlier, say, hey, throw some enzymes in there, which the theory there is if it hits and it starts eating down some of the more unfermentable sugars and helps to convert them, which I don't know if that happens at that temperature or not, because we were fermenting at about 68 to 70 degrees, looking to get it nice and smooth. It did seem to help though, because it started dropping much faster the next day. And I'm gonna say between that and the other yeasts, they all kind of worked together in conjunction and cranked on through. We ended up from a 1.079 all the way down to a 1.009. We were only expecting to hit somewhere about 1.016. 1.014 if we were lucky, but 1.016 was what Beersmith estimated. And we got down to 1.009. And for a stout, to me, that's incredibly dry. I mean, that's got to be something to do with the enzymes helping out with the yeast. So here it is in my nice little muffin top glass. It smells like a nice chocolate stout. I have a hint of roast in there, very subtle. So all that foam on top, but I still have it sitting at about 35 PSI. I'm gonna bring that down now that I know it's pretty much carbonated. Carbonation doesn't feel that intense in the glass as far as drinking it, just more on the head. It had nice head retention too for a stout, but I got a lot of chocolate. I got a hint of roast. I'm gonna say I have maybe something in there, and I'm not sure if it's, I doubt it's the oysters. I have a feeling it's just the high ABV and it needs to age a little. Stouts do benefit massively from that, and it's not a bad taste at all. It's just one I can't describe. And I only notice it when I try to look for it. I didn't even hardly notice it, that's it. Okay, I noticed it on like the first and second sip. I can't find it anymore, so maybe 9.1% has killed the palate. I'm not sure, but very drinkable. Definitely it tastes probably like it's up around the 7.5, 8 easy. 9.1 I could see, but I would, if I had to guess, I would say high sevens or maybe low 8s at that. So, which is always good. I always like it not to taste like pure alcohol. That's nothing I've ever intended for anything. One of the reasons I don't like a lot of the real high ABVs, because it's very obvious. They're just kind of alcohol in your face sometimes, and it's not my thing. So, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. I would say it actually could benefit if I had put lactose in it. I don't tolerate lactose real good, although I like to play with it in some of the beers. But it would have given it a smooth, either that or more oatmeal. That's what it's missing. It's really good, but I like a real smooth stout, and it's got a good I would say medium mouthfeel. I'd like the mouthfeel to be a little heavier, and it's probably because it fermented so dry. That's it. It's that dry. I got that tang from the dry. Kind of like I get on Irish stouts. That's that taste I'm noticing. It's just that excessive dryness. Okay, I only get it in the very beginning, but I'm kind of figuring out what I'm tasting. But yeah, if I would have had either another pound of oatmeal or put in maybe close to a half a pound to maybe 3/4 of a pound of lactose, would have given it a little more creaminess, would have made it a heavier on the mouthfeel, not heavier tasty, but heavier mouthfeel. That would have been amazing. That would have been like over the top. But right now, definitely great beer, easy drinking. I'm not gonna say I can slam these down, but if you like a little roast and a lot of chocolate, we use this the same as the Red Velvet Stout. I had the same recipe almost. I made a few very minor modifications, such as I added a little bit of black patent. I added some British dark malts, which were sitting up around 120. But other than that, it's pretty much the chocolate wheat, the pale chocolate, the Vienna. I did increase the oatmeal a little bit, should have kicked it up a little more than that. And then should have brought everything down a little bit to bring the ABV down. And we simply dropped 1.25 ounces of Nugget hops at 14.1% alpha acid at 90 minutes for our bittering, which almost 60 IBUs. But with all that extra roast and everything else going on, I'm enjoying it. It's gonna be a good year, a very good year. 2021 is gonna be a great year. Thank you again for subscribing. Don't forget, like if you haven't subscribed. Come on, throw me a little support. Always appreciate it. And the sharing is huge. Always appreciate every time you share something out. Thank you again. Have a great new year, 2021.